Good evening, welcome to Central News for Tuesday the 6th of August. I'm Hilary Entwistle. In today's news, a local government conference was held in Hamilton last month, and the success of Auckland Super City and whether the model would work for our regions was discussed. More than 500 people attended the conference, in which a presentation was given by Auckland's Mayor Len Brown on the success of his amalgamated councils. Tauranga City Council Mayor Stuart Crosby says the Bay of Plenty is not likely to be amalgamated anytime soon, but there was discussion on whether it could work for the Bay of Plenty.
Local government reform was in 8 pieces and in 2 stages, so the first 4 pieces, stage 1 has been done, that changed the purpose and some restructuring opportunities. The second stage is a critical one as far as I'm concerned. It revolves around infrastructure, how we deliver it and maintain it and who runs it. It's also about regulation, it's also about efficiencies of council, the bureaucracy of council, which has actually got worse and worse over the years from my perspective. And importantly to Tauranga as well, and Hamilton and growth areas, is development contributions. So those 4 elements are coming up for review later this year, and they will actually determine quite a lot about how we operate into the future.
Parent to Parent is celebrating 30 successful years next week during their annual Awareness Week. The not-for-profit organisation offers support for parents and families with a child who has a disability or health impairment. Communications and Learning Manager Matthew Pryor says there are many ways they are celebrating their success around our regions.
Well, we've got quite a few things planned. Some of them haven't quite been finalised yet, but if you want to get in touch with your local office, we do have offices in Tauranga that covers the Coastal Bay, in Rotorua for the Central Lakes region, and in Hamilton for the Waikato region. And just jump on our website or give us a call on 0508 236 236 or parenttoparent.org.nz.
New Zealand's 5th largest electricity retailer could be the next owner of a redeveloped site at the top of Devonport Road in Tauranga. But Trustpower isn't confirming whether it is the new owner of the IRD car park site development in the central city. Instead, Trustpower Community Relations Manager Graham Purchase says the site is a possible future home for Trustpower. The property between Devonport Road and the Strand is one of the largest undeveloped sites in the CBD, comprising 4,370 metres squared, and holds a current rating value of 4.7 million. Now for our region's weather, Hamilton cloudy periods with a few showers and a westerly. Your expected high is 16 and an overnight low of 7. Wednesday for you, Tauranga, will be fine with a westerly breeze. Your expected high is 17 and an overnight low of 9. Just ahead, the Kitty Hawk roars into life. Welcome to Central News on TV Central. The Classic Plane Restoration Team have finished their 3-year project of a 1943 Kitty Hawk. I went along to Classic Flyers in Mount Maunganui to find out how she fared when they fired her up. So how did it go when you started the Kitty Hawk up?
It was brilliant. We never thought we'd ever get to this stage. When I first saw the mess of what we were first given, and when we realised that we'd converted that into an aircraft which could taxi with an engine which hadn't worked for 60 years, turning away and pulling the aircraft along, it was just quite magnificent, a real tribute to the team who worked on it.
Will she ever fly again?
She can't fly. We didn't get enough bits to build the wings, and therefore we had to build the wings ourselves to the original design, but they're not strong enough for flight. So sadly, no, it will never fly.
She's actually made up of 2 old planes. Tell us about that.
She's a composite of lots and bits and pieces of Kitty Hawks, which were left in a shed, and they were just all single bits, all the rivets out, all bits of panels. They were just dumped here in a container, tipped out, and our crew had the jigsaw puzzle of putting all that together.
How long has this project been going on for?
Oh, I think it's 3.5 years since we first started the project, and it really has been. There's been about a steady 12 people working on it all that time, and it really has taken that long to get together. Not perhaps every day, but all the people who work on it are volunteers, they're all retired engineers, have all got a multiple of skills, and they do a great job for us.
Last time we were here, you actually needed a propeller, so how did you get one of those?
Funnily enough, we found it in a foundry down in Palmerston North. It was a foundry, had some old propellers there. We had it shipped up here, but the important thing was we had to make it fit the aircraft. So Field Air very kindly cut the propeller down to the size we needed and balanced it, because of course for a propeller to spin at the revs it does, unless it's totally balanced, it will just destroy the aircraft, shake it to bits. So Field Air did a great job for us there. They sponsored that and we're very thankful for them.
Now, this isn't the only project that you guys have going on. You've also got a Venom.
Oh, you can probably see the Venom behind me as well. The Venom was an aircraft which unfortunately had a very rough landing at the Masterton Air Show. It wiped out the undercarriage coming in quite bad weather. That was at the air show not last year but the year before. So we had it delivered to us in bits about 6 months ago, and we've reassembled it. Don't think it will ever fly again. But it does look quite magnificent. It's in the Swiss Air Force colours because, of course, the Swiss Air Force used them, and this is, and it, as I say, it looks magnificent in those colours. Yeah.
So, what was that plane used for?
Oh, it was one of the first jets, one of the first serious jets. It was used in the Korean War, as far as I remember, and well, I wasn't there at the time, I have to say, but it was very much a fighter, a ground attack aircraft.
And soon you'll have a new project. Now, this is a 1956 Fairey Swordfish biplane. What are those?
Motat have got a spare Swordfish. It is in fact a mock-up, a model which was made for a film, but it looks the complete part. And what we're going to do is we're going to put it back together so it looks as original as it can, and then we're going to put it up in our cafe in the children's play area, and the children will be able to climb inside and climb over it, and it'll be a wonderful addition to what we do.
So what is this plane used for?
Oh, the Swordfish was a torpedo bomber, a naval torpedo bomber, and of course they're famous for the attack they had on the Tirpitz, which was a German pocket battleship, which was eventually sunk by the Royal Air Force. But the Swordfish did have a go at it. It was used extensively as well in the Mediterranean for attacking the German fleet on the sea.
And you have another exciting addition, the Air Mackie. Tell us about that.
The Air Mackie is a beautiful aircraft. The Air Mackie is a trainer, a two-seater trainer, advanced jet trainer, and people and the pilots who were going to fly the Skyhawk were trained on the Air Mackie. Now, as soon as the government decided to get rid of the Skyhawks, of course the Air Mackies became redundant. But the Air Mackies have got very few hours on them. So we've got one in pristine condition just about. We've got the engine and it is going to fly at some stage in the future.
What will you use who for?
Oh, giving people joyrides. People will pay a lot of money to, and of course it takes a lot of money to keep up in the air. So yes, and people don't get the experience in New Zealand very often to fly in a fast jet.
Now, going back to our main project, the Kitty Hawk. So what is some of the history of what Kitty Hawks were used for?
Well, the Kitty Hawk first flew in 1938 as the Curtiss P-40 Warhawk, and every P-40 after the D model was known as the Kitty Hawk. Royal New Zealand Air Force was allocated 301 of them on a Lend-Lease scheme for the Second World War. 4 of them were lost in transit, and how they were lost in transit I don't know. You can't really lose an aircraft in transit, but it was used extensively by us in the Second World War in the Pacific, and there was a real innovation with it in that it was used to drop depth charges on land targets to make a really big bang, and that was the Royal New Zealand Air Force developed that, and I don't think that was ever been done anywhere else in the world.
Coming up next, everything you need to know about going digital. Welcome back. The South Island and the Hawke's Bay have already gone digital, and our turn is coming up near the end of the year. So, what do we need to know? Joining me tonight is Greg. Welcome to the program, Greg.
Thank you, great to be here.
So, when are the dates for Waikato and the Bay of Plenty?
Waikato, the Bay of Plenty, and indeed the whole of the Upper North Island are going digital on the 1st of December this year. So it's really important that if you value TV, you want to keep watching TV, that you've got Freeview, Sky or Igloo before then.
What does it exactly mean going digital?
Going digital is the biggest change to TV since the introduction of colour broadcasting back in the 1970s. So it's the move from analogue broadcasting, which is the signal we've known and loved for the last 50 odd years, to digital, which offers more channels, better pictures and new services such as on-screen program guides.
And what benefits will it bring?
Well, for viewers, as I say, there's a number of benefits, more channels and better pictures, but for New Zealand as a whole, going digital will free up some radio spectrum, which we can then use for next generation mobile phone and data services, and in the long run, these are expected to be faster and cheaper for consumers.
Now, when you say digital, so it's going off the analogue, so does that affect how it's broadcast?
It affects how it's broadcast, but it also affects the equipment you need to be able to pick it up. So you need to have Freeview, Sky or Igloo to keep watching TV. You don't need a new TV though to go digital. All you need is a set-top box, which looks something like this. This is an example of a set-top box. There's a range of products on the market, and that plugs into your existing TV and into your aerial or satellite dish.
Why do we need to do it?
We need to do it in order to free up the radio spectrum for next generation mobile phone and data services.
So what do we need to know before the 1st of December?
Well, the good news is that most people have already gone digital. Nationally, more than 94% of homes are already watching digital TV. But what you do need to know is that every TV needs to go digital and every recorder needs to go digital. So if you want to record new programs, you might want to think about buying a new personal digital video recorder. And also think about any other TVs that you've got in your house. You might have Freeview or Sky on your main set, but if you've got a set in the bedroom that you want to keep using, that needs to go digital as well.
And can you give us a summary of the latest Digital Tracker survey?
Yes, the Digital Tracker is a piece of research we do that tells us how many people have gone digital. As I say, nationally, more than 94% of homes have now got digital TV. Here in the Upper North Island, it's about 92%, so more than 9 out of 10 homes have gone digital already. And at this stage, I'm really asking people to reach out to their friends and family and check that they know what they need to do, and if not, give them a hand.
So if basically after the 1st of December, if I don't have a digital box, I can't watch TV?
That's right. You either need a digital set-top box, which can look a bit like this, or you need a TV with Freeview built in. But if you haven't got Freeview, Sky or Igloo after the 1st of December, you won't be able to watch anything on your TV at all.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty serious.
Yeah. So what have been the most common misconceptions around going digital?
Look, the big question we get, well, there's two big questions we get. One is, do you need a new TV? The answer is no. Any TV can go digital with the right equipment, a set-top box like this. You might remember a couple of years back we ran a competition to find New Zealand's oldest telly, and the winning set was a 1958 do-it-yourself kit set job from Hokitika, and we made that go digital. So I'm pretty confident that anything else can go digital too. The second question we get really is around second TVs. What do I have to do with the set in the bedroom or the set in the kitchen or whatever? And as I say, the answer to that is you need to make that go digital too. Connect it to a set-top box and onto your existing aerial or satellite dish.
So the second TV has to get a separate box, does it?
That's right. For best results, you're best off having a set-top box on each TV.
Now, most of the country has gone digital already, so did that go quite smoothly?
It's gone very smoothly. We've switched over 3 regions. We did Hawke's Bay and the west coast of the South Island, and then the rest of the South Island just a couple of months back. It did go really well. More than 99% of homes have gone digital as a result of the switchover deadline. The risk is that if people wait till the last minute, they might find that installers get booked up, and we saw this in the South Island as well. And there were people who were left without TV for a couple of weeks because they needed an installer to help them put up a new aerial, and they couldn't get one at the last minute. So I'd really encourage people to go digital today, get on the phone. If they need an installer, book one in now so that there's not a rush at the last minute.
So what happens to the old analogue signal once we go digital?
Well, the analogue signal itself will be switched off. There's a number of transmitters around the country which will be dismantled and recycled, but the space in the airwaves that's used to broadcast analogue TV will be reused for new services such as telephone services.
Now, if there's anybody else out there who's probably not as technical savvy as myself, well, as technical savvy as me, which is really, really low, and I have no idea what does digital mean?
Digital is a new way of transmitting the pictures that you get. So essentially, we're transmitting a stream of data to your TV, and your set-top box or the tuner in your Freeview built-in TV will decode that information stream and turn it back into a picture.
And so it's doing it from satellites, or it's...
Well, there's two options. All of New Zealand is covered by a satellite TV signal, and you can get Freeview or Sky on the satellite. In most parts of the Waikato and Bay of Plenty regions, you're also able to get Freeview or Igloo using a UHF aerial, which is broadcast from a transmission tower up on the hill Mount Te Aroha here in the Waikato.
And so once the digital switchover goes, we can use the UHF or the satellite?
That's right. So generally speaking, you've got a choice of two, but the services available do depend on exactly where you live. So it's a good idea if you're unsure about what services are available to give us a call. We've got a great team of people on 0800 838 800 who can help you out, or go to our website goingdigital.co.nz and you can punch your address in and it'll tell you what services are available for you. Now
lastly, have you had anyone ring up and kind of, get a bit stroppy that they've got no TV yet?
No, people have been pretty well informed about it. Going Digital's been out in the market now for 2.5 years, getting the message out that people need to do that, to go digital. So we're really, hopefully won't be too many surprises for people, but certainly in the South Island and Hawke's Bay, people have understood what they need to do before the deadline.
Well, thank you very much. So for more information, visit goingdigital.co.nz. I know that I need to. Stay tuned, as up next we talk GCSB bill. If you have just joined us, welcome to Central News. On the 27th of July, there was a nationwide protest against the GCSB bill. I spoke with one of the organisers of the Tauranga protest. There was a nationwide protest on July the 27th, Thursday, so how did the Tauranga one go?
It went really well. We had 80 people come to the protest, which I thought was a really good turnout. I don't think Tauranga has a particular history of protest movements, so we were really pleased with the people who came along.
What is the GCSB bill and why are you so against it?
I think it's a really broad and expensive intrusion into the kind of civil and political rights of New Zealanders, and I don't think there's a good argument for why that needs to be done. So I don't think that the security arguments and the idea of international threats stacks up in any particular way.
What does the New Zealand Bill of Rights Act grant us around privacy, and what does this kind of intrude on?
Yeah, well, the New Zealand Bill of Rights Act particularly covers our civil and political rights. So, for example, around the right to vote and freedom of expression, around what happens when you're arrested, detained, that kind of thing. But there's also the Privacy Act as well in 1993, which talks particularly about principles of privacy. If you take those two things together, then what they grant us is the right to be involved in decision making about what happens with our communications, our information and what we're doing. And I think that the GCSB bill and the TICS bill both ride roughshod over those particular two pieces of legislation. And you can probably see that in the submissions from the Law Commission and from the Privacy Commissioner and the Human Rights Commission, that they have the same view.
What does the GCSB bill do that overrides the Privacy Act in particular?
Well, for example, in the Privacy Act, it covers how your data is collected, how it's accessed, how it's stored, and how it's used. Now, the GCSB bill and the TICS bill together are going to take that responsibility away from you and me, away from the organisations that we contractually trust with that information, and give it to the GCSB to make those decisions for us. And I think, well, that's a really significant change.
So they can read our private email?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just in the last couple of days, of course, the private communications of a Fairfax reporter were handed over carte blanche without his say-so or any involvement at all, and that could happen to anyone. Kim.com, while he's obviously a big man who has a big presence, is really just a private resident who they decided that they wanted to do this. So what's stopping them in other instances? Nothing with these particular bills.
There are many people who are involved that aren't happy with this, so who else is involved?
Yeah, well, I mean, it goes right from the very echelons of the legal fraternity. So Sir Geoffrey Palmer and May Chen have spoken out strongly against these bills, to people who are activists around human rights, the Commissioner, the Privacy Commissioner, and then Joe Blogs on the Street, I guess. The Stop the GCSB Bill Facebook page was just set up by some interested residents. And when we saw it, we thought, well, we being a small group of Tauranga people thought we'd love to be involved with that. So I think that actually concern covers a whole range of people, and I think that it covers a whole range of experience, probably knowledge, but the overriding concern is people don't want this intrusion in their lives without any oversight and without any accountability.
Where is the government up to now with the bill?
My understanding is because they've got the numbers, then John Cares, the minister concerned, puts it back into the ballot. That process will take a few weeks and then it'll come up for its second hearing. Peter Dunn and John Banks are going to vote for it, unsurprisingly. And really the second hearing, the second reading is the most important reading. After that, the third reading is normally just straight through Parliament. So yeah, this is the time to make some noise.
Do you think there will be more protesting in the future?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I mean, there was a desire from the group that came together on Tauranga last Saturday to protest again. There seems to be a desire online, and I think that probably it's needed, so it's one avenue for letting our views be known.
Do you think that the GCSB has too much power anyway?
I think that it has too little accountability rather than too much power, and I'm not convinced that Peter Dunn's changes that he got made is going to give us any accountability, because it's really a tautology, a loop where the minister appoints the people who are going to be accountable of the ministry that he oversees, and that's just a closed circle that doesn't allow us any insight to that.
There are also a lot of people that aren't quite happy with the TCIS bill. What's that?
So it's the Telecommunications Interception Capability and Security Bill, and it's more concerning than the GCSB bill, because what it's about is providing backdoors into telecommunications, for example, ISPs, phone providers, that GCSB controls, so they can access that information when they want. So your emails, your phone calls, your whatever you do online, essentially all of those providers have to legally, under that, provide a backdoor that information can be taken when and where needed. And only in some instances do they have to get a search warrant, and others they can just do it.
So potentially companies like Vodafone, Telecom
will be required, if they want to run their services in New Zealand, to have a backdoor. That's correct.
And the bill has entered the committee stage. That is the news for today. We really want you to be involved, so like us on Facebook, let us know your views. If you have news including your own video and photos, go to our website and hit upload. Thanks for joining us. I will be back tomorrow night with more guests from in and around our regions. I'm Hilary Entwistle. Have a lovely evening.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.